Welcome everybody to the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card reading. Though in a way I would almost say, while there are cards associated with this and the divinatory tools we will be using are tarot and other oracle cards, I'd almost say this is a pick a chakra reading because this is a bit of an experiment. If you're seeing it, I felt the experiment worked. Right now as I'm filming the introduction, I've yet to see. But what I really wanted to do was check in on the dominant and sort of maybe secondary to third level dominant kind of like chakra energies for you at the moment, what's sort of working well, what's sort of potentially blocked or is an issue to be aware of, and then also how it does across all the chakras, how this all balances out and how that all comes together. So that's what we're really looking at. This is a check-in around your chakra energies, taking as its design principle that probably at any given time we focus on one or two, maybe three chakra energies in particular, but knowing about what's working there well, why we're drawn to that and that kind of thing, plus also how it kind of connects and balances with the other chakras is a helpful thing spiritually and for our well-being. So that's the idea. So that's what we're going to explore today, and that's pretty much it. We will look at what tarot has to say around each of those and what could be happening in your life, and we'll use some oracles to get some other information in either pairing certain chakras or in the chakra on their own. So you'll see as it goes, but this is really a check-in for you. So hopefully that makes the choice a little bit easier. Now, of course, if you don't feel particularly drawn to one of these chakras, that's fine. Just go with whatever your intuition says, or, if you want, just go with the number if that's what you usually do, and go to more than one reading if you like, because it might be a balance across a few of them. Like it could be that there's more than, say, three really dominant chakras at the moment, so you need to sort of look across more. That's sort of up to you. But what may help is that I shuffled and asked Spirit for each pile what the absolute number one chakra is that we're going to focus on. Underneath this are two other cards from this deck that are reversed. I don't know what they are, and we won't know until we first explored this chakra, and then we'll move from there. So for pile number one, we have the throat chakra. So if you feel issues around communication, how you're being heard, how you're expressing yourself, all of those sorts of things are something that you're really focused on, possibly pile one. Pile two is the solar plexus chakra. So this is all about your personal power, who you are in the world, how strong you feel in going forward with your sense of self. And pile three has the third eye chakra. So this to me is one of the psychic chakras. It's probably the telepathic one, the connection to the sort of different spaces in the universe and between people and that kind of thing. So if you're exploring your psychic abilities, your spiritual growth and so forth, but particularly I would say in connection with others, because you've got the crown chakra, which is probably in connection with the divine, then this may well be the pile for you. So that may help, as I say. Otherwise you do you and choose whatever one most resonates for you. But when you know what reading or readings you want to go to, the timestamps as always are in the description box below, and I'll see you there. Welcome pile one to your reading. So you came to the throat chakra, and as I said in the introduction, this suggests that issues around communication, your way of being able to self-express, even things in your kind of material or vocational life, if you are a communicator in some way for your career, or you are aspiring to be that, or that you need that for some study that you're doing or for a creative project, any of these things would make the throat chakra a very important center of energy for you at the moment. Now, this particular throat chakra in this deck is connected to chrysocolla, and it particularly in the area of communication looks at things around self-awareness and comfort. It has affirmations, I am comfortable within my true self, and it says, I am highly aware of what I say and do. So this does seem to have something to do with how you express yourself and where you get that level of comfort between you and others. These two cards may have there may be two other potentially chakras that are particularly important and relate particularly to this that we're going to explore after we've explored this. It's also possible the throat chakra may come up again. It's possible that it's only one other chakra and both the cards are there. So we will see. We have up to three potentially, with the throat chakra being the key one, but we'll see that as we go along. What we're going to start with first, because what we're looking at is how this is operating, is firstly with tarot, how is the throat chakra operating really well for you? Where are you kind of knocking it out of the park or developing yourself, in the sense that this becomes an energy center because it's a strength for you? Knight of Swords, Temperance reversed, Four of Pentacles reversed, King of Cups reversed. Okay, so the interesting thing here, as I say, this is a balance between self-awareness and comfort, and this does say something about the strength of your communication within your environment. Be true to yourself, but also comfortable and able to make other people comfortable. There is a speed in your communication. You think very, very quickly. It's one of your strengths. What this allows you to do is deal with environments that are not balanced, like are quite emotionally or materially out of balance. You come in almost like a knight here. You feel like a mediator, a negotiator, or somebody who can soothe the energy that is out of balance, can work out what is not working or what is not fair on a material level, and you have a healing energy with you. So your awareness of yourself and your own comfort and what that means, I think, has created in you a highly empathic capacity. You are someone who is able to read a room, read a situation very well, and this may be very important to you at the moment. It would suggest that there is something in your environment at the moment that is out of balance. I don't feel it's you because of the nature of this particular card, the crystal that came with it. I think you are the person for the job, basically, whether it's in vocation, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's in family, friendships, whatever it is. There is something where you're very highly attuned to the emotional, material outcomes of how you speak, and you temper yourself, because the Knight of Swords could go in very hard, very fast, but you actually know how to balance that because you're in an environment that is not balanced in some way. So this is why the throat chakra is important. You're very, very aware of how important what you say is. So given that, what could be some blocks or energies that you need to be aware of for yourself to best use the strength of your throat chakra at the moment, and to keep it open and clear? Like when we have problems and blocks in our throat chakra, sometimes we cough a lot, sometimes our voice catches, sometimes we get, come down with things like laryngitis. I don't see that major thing happening for you, but you are in a very sensitive environment, I think. So let's see what blocks or issues you need to be aware of to keep your throat chakra as strong as possible. Pile 1. 10 of Cups, 3 of Cups reversed, Page of Cups reversed. Okay, this is very clear. This is saying that it's not so much a block, but it's a thing you have to be aware of. Where you have an emotional stake in something, you have to be extra careful. So if this is around sort of family matters, and it could be for some of you with the 10 of Cups coming up here, then the tensions in this, you need to be very, very careful and very, very clear on what your end game is, because getting that wrong would actually really upset the apple cart. It's like it's the thing that would snatch victory, defeat from the jaws of victory. You could overdo it if you are too emotionally invested. So there is a sense here, whether it is because it is very close to you or whether it is because there are emotional triggers around what you're dealing with, a sense of detachment. This is where the Knight of Swords will work well for you, because swords are a bit more detached, because a lot of emotion around this. There's a lot of emotion in this situation. So you're very sensitive to that, and you certainly have the empathy and the capacity to heal. There is also, though, I think, when we have the King of Cups reversed here, and then we have this sort of issue around what would be your ultimate best emotional outcome for this and what would constitute celebration for that. Are you clear on that? You do need to work out your stake in this, pile 1, because you could take on King of Cups reversed to me is often like Karron, the wounded healer, heals everybody but themselves. So I think there's a little bit of a thing here to look after your own heart. So we'll be interested to see if either of these cards are the heart chakra, but if not, we will be looking at the heart chakra as well to sort of see what energy comes with that. But at the moment, this is important because of a scenario you're in. You are the right person for it, but if you have an emotional stake in this, you need to be very clear before you speak. It would be your one Achilles heel. Okay, let's see the other two chakras. Okay, so it's very much saying throat chakra and heart chakra. That's what I thought. Okay, this makes perfect sense. So when we look at the throat chakra here with Celestite, this is divinity and wisdom. So this is giving you a channel above. So it says, I am wise beyond my years and I see divinity in all things. So Certainly, if you maybe are the younger in a group of people, like a family, you're very developed. You might be younger than people within a workplace, and you're still taking on this role. I had a situation where early in my career, when I was about 30 or something like that, I was in a manager's role, and there was a dispute that I had to sort of deal with, between other levels of management and some staff. And sometimes sort of after that had been resolved, one of the sort of older women in the workplace said to the manager concerned, "Oh, Helen's like a mother to us," and yet I was a lot younger, so I know this energy. This is where your skill is being called upon that seems to be beyond your years in some way. Now that's pretty specific. It may not fit with all of you, but if not, I think there's a sense of a maturity, even if it's amongst people who are around the same age as you, that you're bringing to this, and your connection to the divine is very strong. It's why you're the person who can do this. But it's also why you could get a little bit detached from your own outcome. That's why that's important to look at. Hence why we have the heart chakra, which talks about flexibility and patience with bloodstone. I am flexible and I practice patience. I think for many of you, this has to do with family, extended family or immediate family. And it doesn't have to be, but that bloodstone tells to me blood is thicker than water. There's something here. If it's in a workplace or friends or whatever, there's something about the patterning from your family that has given you this skill, that developed this skill in you quite early, and you're calling upon that. But you do need to make sure that you are flexible and patient with what's going on, but you also need to know what matters to you. What is the lifeblood for you, so that you don't put yourself second, pile one. So let's just put the heart chakra stone there. What we're going to also look at, well, actually what we'll do with each of these, we won't do another of this because we've looked at the throat chakra, but I will pull 3 cards for the heart chakra for anything else around how to use the heart chakra energy around this core, how to connect it to the throat chakra. The Chariot, the 8 of Pentacles, the 9 of Wands. Okay. So this is the patience. There is patience necessary. This is whatever this issue is going to take some time. That's why you're drawing so much on the skill of your throat chakra. It will move forward, and it's partly you coming to understand your destiny. Your throat chakra is always going to be a very powerful chakra for you. Your communication skills are always going to be very powerful. And in fact, in doing this and connecting it more with your heart, you're learning a whole other level of skill. In fact, you're going to a level of mastery. So you may well have, been good at public speaking or at debating or something like that. Now you're really taking it to a whole other level. But this is a bit long term. This is why your heart needs to be really strongly connected. Okay, so let's have a look at the other chakras. So starting from the root chakra. So this is, and I'm going to do the root chakra and the sacral chakra together. So what we're going to look at here is that firstly, I'm going to get another crystal chakra card, and I'm going to see what chakra these are most relating to. So the root chakra is who you are at your core, the base, like the foundation of your life. Your sacral chakra is how you create. So they are most connecting to the heart chakra as well. And this time with Moldavite, that healing and evolution. So yes, there is something about healing with this. This is something about you are creating a new you in a way that is healing to you and healing to others. So there is a very strong connection between who you are as a person and what you are creating in the world, and your heart center, which is the thing that you need to take into account in how you communicate. So let's get just 3 cards for how this best works together, all to the purpose of what you're trying to do with your throat chakra, but also how to balance it out. And I think we're getting a very strong idea here that the heart is very core to this, very core to who you are creating and what you are creating. So we have the 4 of Swords reversed, the 5 of Wands reversed, the King of Swords. Okay. Part of what you're creating is a sense, I'll move this so that you can see it a bit better. What you're creating is a sense of what is right. So this is why the throat chakra has come out as your major one, because what you speak has a gravitas, has an aura of maturity, an aura of being right. So there is really a sense here that you are dispelling conflict, but you're bringing out your philosophy. And that's why the heart chakra is important to this, because the heart chakra is what's going to protect you around the environment you're in. It's also the thing that is your gravitational pull in a way towards who you are trying to be, to make sure that you are the very best of what you want to be in this situation. Because I think that there's something here, because it is quite imbalanced and quite emotional, and you do have some emotional stake in it. It could be easy to be pulled off course if you don't connect. See, the chariot will work if you keep connecting it back to your heart. And your heart gives you a grounding of who you want to be in this. So let's get a card as well from an oracle. So the oracle that I wanted to use to have a look at the root chakra and the sacral chakra is the medicine woman oracle, because I feel like there's a sort of sense of earthy grounding and healing energy. So what is the energy for you in relation to your sort of foundational and creative chakras and how they help you in focusing on the throat chakra? Authenticity. There, that's exactly it. The King of Swords there. I open the way of truth. There is a truth. But your truth comes from your heart. You express it very much mentally. You're very articulate. But this is about authenticity. This is why you have to know what you care about, because in this environment, and when you're thinking about what to say, you want it to be truly authentic, and you have a very strong sense of that. Then I want to look together at the solar plexus and actually at the throat chakra. Now, I know that's jumping the heart chakra, but we've looked at the heart chakra already, so we've covered that. But I also, in the oracle deck that I have here, I'm actually connecting those two, because I think your personal power and how you communicate in the world are very strongly connected. So we have the throat chakra now and the solar plexus. So looking at how the solar plexus connects in to your authenticity, to your heart, but very much to how you're communicating in the world. Pile 1. The devil. Wow, okay. The high priestess reversed. The Queen of Swords. All right. So this is interesting, because we are going to look at the third eye and the crown chakra after this. But this is telling me that you have a lot of psychic ability, and this showed up here with this particular, it was the secondary throat chakra. It's not the one that you think of as much. You think you really prize your self-awareness and your understanding of situations, but you actually have underneath that a very strong spiritual connection. But this is saying you have underestimated that power, and as a result, you've given too much power just to your mind. So I think this is getting these two in balance. It's saying something about your true power comes when you align the kind of word that you would say, that what you would speak that has to do with the divine connection, and then also what you know about yourself and your environment. That's where you hit the sweet spot in it. So there is a little bit of a thing here that says, and maybe that's why the heart chakra was so important, that you have a tendency, and I'm not criticizing, I'm a bit like this, a tendency to go into your head. So it's about the balance. That's what brings you the true strength. Now, there's a deck that I have that has sort of blue and yellow coloring, and it's about career and finance and who we are in the world, our personal power and our spirituality. So it's ideal to sort of see what other advice we have here about your power center. Pile 1. Phoenix, rising from the ashes. Oh, that's interesting, with the devil looking like flame there. New career, ambition, rebuild, inspire, spotlight, fire within. Yeah, there is a deep fire within you. And this again, there's a kind of a double-edged sword. This is the thing that getting into balance is to understand. Because you have a strong commitment to whatever this issue is and whatever you're trying to resolve, you also have an emotional stake in it. That's why the authenticity is important, and it's also why you need to balance your divine sort of communication with your more earthly psychological one. But you are about to arise out of this. It may in fact say that you've already had some slings and arrows with the King of Cups reversed. You might have dealt with some emotional fallout already from this. But this is saying you are ready to arise, and this is meant to show you, as I say, something about who you are going to become, something about your destiny. So let's also then have a look at, we've looked at the throat chakra and so forth. Let's have a look at the third eye chakra. So the third eye chakra is how you are, as I said in the introduction, sort of telepathically connecting with others. So let's see that, because there's a lot of external conversation and communication operating here. But given that we have that secondary level around the divine, you may well be, whether you're conscious of it or not, picking up communication on a telepathic level and also delivering it. And there may be other sort of psychic sort of connecting into the collective unconscious energy that's important for you to know. So we get the Four of Wands reversed, the World reversed, Strength. Okay, this is saying this is a strength of yours, so it's confirming it. It's connecting the third eye to the throat chakra there in particular. So you are picking that up, but I think it's saying you're not fully aware of this yet. You have a sense of it, the world beneath the world in a way, with the world reversed here. What is really going on under the surface. And I feel you absorb some of the disharmony around you with the Four of Wands reversed there. So I think this is sort of saying that you need to understand that dynamic. It then becomes a strength while you have not fully incorporated it within your sense of self and your world and your sort of way that you do with things, then you could absorb the disharmony and think it's yours. So I think this is sort of the empath, the telepathic empath energy that you're dealing with. So let's see with the Supernatural Oracle, which I felt would be a good one to have a look at the energy around the third eye. What sort of skills or abilities could help you with this, pile one? Pegasus, making fantasies a reality. Now, I find this really interesting with the Phoenix, and then we got Pegasus. We've got these winged creatures being up in the air, being able to express communication speed. There's something in that. This is saying, I think, if you understand the extent of your telepathic connection, you could actually start to influence the outcomes and the dreams that you have through that as well. It's sort of a little bit of personal magic, I think, that we're seeing operating there. Okay, last but not least, I'm going to put this up here because this is connecting to the divine. We look at the crown chakra. So we've had a look at all the other ones. This is a connection to the divine. So let's just see how that connects back to the communication and the heart-centered balance that you're trying to do at this point. Pile one. Three of Pentacles reversed. Four of Cups reversed. Two of Swords. Okay. I think this is why that second throat chakra came up to connect this. I think this is saying, and with both of these, you're underestimating this at the moment. It's kind of come up a bit. Your personal power is far more connected to this than you think, but you're underestimating it a bit. It's almost as though you can sense or feel from a divine level where the tipping point could be emotionally and how to unblock that. And you kind of know also on this very high level what is not working, what is the disharmony in this environment, but you feel like you need more information to take this seriously. So I feel that meditating, getting into that connection is going to help you. It's not your go-to. Your go-to is really around being authentic and true to what you want to say and connecting as much to your heart as possible, but you've underestimated the power that you have from the psychic and spiritual in some way. So let's see what we get with the White Light Oracle in terms of an energy coming from the divine for you around the balance. Bath Coal. Okay, this is about relaxing into it and being okay about it, really. It's really about a leap of faith, about like kind of just leaning into it, because Bath Coal is an oracle and she brings messages, she brings prophecy. So this is suggesting that you have that ability, but you just haven't fully realized it yet. And you may say, Helen, I know I do this, but you don't realize there's more. There's more. Because at the moment, that kind of divine message that can help you deal with all of this, it's like it's more like, does this align? Does this have evidence? You know, and like, does this fit the matrix? There's something, I think it's almost as though you go, what's at stake here is so precious that I can't just think it's something that's come through in a meditation. I need the evidence. I need to be really clear. And therefore you go into your mind. But this is also very powerful, and starting to know that and relaxing into it and drawing it into you and understanding it's part of who you are. It's part of why you are well suited to do this is important. So you're getting a sense with this. What I see around this is that your throat chakra is the most dominant chakra at the moment because you are meant to speak your truth, your authentic truth. And What needs to balance that is both a sense of the truth that comes from the divine as well as from your mind and what your heart is telling you. In your base sort of creative energy, you're very much connecting to the mind and the authenticity, and I think on a secondary level to the heart around that. So there's nothing wrong with that. But to come into your true power, you need to embrace your spiritual power as well, pile one. So that's the balance that we're looking at the moment for you. So last but not least, we're just going to get you some guidance. We're going to get a couple of astrology cards, and then we're going to bring it all together with the Rainbow Oracle. So actually 3. We're going to get 3 astrology cards to help you get this into balance. Firstly, we have the waxing crescent moon. So that's about, setting your intentions. I think go back to this. What's the divine spiritual thing you want to do? It's going to align it a lot more. It's going to open up a power that you don't even realize that you have yet. Then we have the third quarter moon. So this is very much moving through the emotions. So it's starting with setting and then releasing that which is not working, healing anything that is not authentic. And Sagittarius, then being free, moving forward. And like, again, I feel like Sagittarius, like up in the sky, there's something about getting a higher view to this, both sort of intellectually, but also like the higher view that you get from connecting spiritually. So last but not least, we're just going to ask Spirit for a card that brings all the chakras and all the colors together for you. Rainbow Priestess, trust your intuition. It's the language of your soul. The language of your soul. Okay. A natural connection to your divinity. Okay. That's it. That's it right there. Right there. And I'm kind of putting it there because I feel like the yellow energy there. You have a lot more divine and spiritual power than you actually realize. In fact, some things that I think you think have come from your mind have come from that. And getting more and more in touch with that via your heart, because your heart is your portal, I think, pile one, you're going to come into a lot more power, and you're going to start to see that there's something destined about this. Whatever you're dealing with at the moment takes you on a journey that is becoming the true you. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile 2, to your reading. So you came to the reading with the solar plexus chakra. What this tells me is that the strongest or the most important chakra at the moment in your energetic center has to do with your personal power. And solar plexus is where your personal power comes from. It's, it brings together the sort of foundational and creative energy of the first 2 chakras as it gets to that, and it connects via your heart chakra and the other chakras to all the elements that give you a sense of who you are as an individual. Now, this particular card with the crystal, which is Septarian, talks about correction and regulation. I control my emotions and I correct my faults and move on. So this suggests, because this is the card that Spirit was operating on, there is something here where you are looking at modifying what you do in your personal power in the world in some way. And that's why this is important. So it suggests to me you actually already have quite a bit of personal power, because the reason that one might want to correct or regulate is to move forward with a greater sense of sort of ethics and values and all of those sort of things. When we don't have a lot of personal power or not clear what it is, it's almost as though we don't have as much of a requirement on that level. With great power comes great responsibility, that kind of thing. So I think this is really picking up that those who've come to this have a lot of personal power, and you're now looking at how best to use that power. So we are going to look at 2 other chakras that it could be 2 different ones. We could have the solar plexus again, or we could have 1 chakra across there, or we could have 3. But these are the kind of most important connections to activate this energy. And then we are going to look at all the other chakras as well. But we're first going to start with the solar plexus chakra, bearing in mind what the Septarian energy brings to it. And we're firstly going to ask what you're doing really, really well with that personal power energy. Ace of Pentacles reversed, Queen of Cups reversed, Nine of Wands reversed, the Magician. Okay. You have reached a crossroads. You do know. You are a very ethical person. You have very strong values. And as a result, even though you have a lot of personal power and a lot of skill, it could be spiritually, it could be communication-wise with the Magician, it could just be very, very gifted, you know that there is an emotional issue, or there's an emotional cost to you just charging through and just kind of like taking all before you. There is something very precious that you are just starting to do that you want to protect. You want to protect its emotional authenticity. You want to protect the others that are dealing around it. You could manipulate your way out of this. You could, but you are choosing not to. And that is your true strength. So you know how to pull the strings, the levers of how, whatever it is, you really do have all the gifts, but you are almost not subverting them, but you're almost making them the least important thing to bring out what else is going on, and to make an environment something where everybody can contribute, because there is something very precious, whether this is a career, whether this is within a family and you want a child, and this is about making sure your partner is ready and it's the right time for your partner, whatever it is, there's something very precious, and you're not sort of letting it grow until everybody else is on board, even though you could sort of rule it if you wanted to. But there's a really strong sense of ethics around you, which is excellent. So therefore, and you may feel with that, I correct my mistakes, that you pushed a bit too far, and that you're starting to wonder, are the people with you? And you really want to make sure that they are before you move forward. So you've got a very good inner sort of regulator to yourself. So let's ask what's blocked around your power and around this energy. The Hierophant reversed, Justice reversed. Wow, the Six of Pentacles reversed. Okay, your challenge, Potter, in whatever this is, whether it's work, whether it's relationship, whatever it is that finding your equal is hard, to be frank. And sometimes when that is the case, if you are the natural leader, you are naturally more talented than those around you, you have the natural sort of strong vision and energy to move forward. Sometimes it can be hard to step back and let everything be in equals. And yet there's something about this environment where that needs to happen, or that you need to somehow mitigate for the fact that it's not equals, like how you lead without dictating. And it's kind of like a bit like the servant leader thing. And, in a way you think that's not fair, and you're not wrong really, but it's an unconventional way of doing things. It'd be like if you were in a workplace and you were very much within your team the most knowledgeable about something, and you could push forward and just make that happen because you're equals. You're not amongst equals. You're the manager. That's your role. And that's the just thing to do, you might think. But it's not going to bring everybody with you. And it's not going to get the best outcome for what you're trying to do. This needs a more unconventional approach. It feels very much like embracing servant leadership, whether it is literally in a workplace or something else, a concept that flips it on its head. It's like, yes, you can be the most talented, the most, all of these things, but you use that to serve the good of the group that is actually doing the work, not the other way around. So there's something like that. I think you're really, really starting to understand your power and your ability, and you're also starting to understand how to deal with that responsibly. But there's a little bit of you that thinks, yeah, but I am the leader here. So you're really balancing that within yourself. And congratulations that you are. It's not an easy thing to do. So let's see what other chakras are being activated with your solar plexus. The crown chakra, so very much, divine connection. Very much, this is why you've got this servant leadership sort of energy around you. We have clear quartz. It talks about amplification and concentration. I concentrate on things that matter to me, and I amplify my voice and speak with confidence. So this is the balance, actually. It's like, how do you amplify your voice, speak with confidence, but not drown out everybody else, when you really are the person with the ideas and you are connected on that level. But it's because something is precious. This is what's doing it. The other chakra is the third eye chakra. Boy, you're psychic. You've got the two kind of psychic, the psychic in the kind of matrix, telepathic, and then the connection to the divine. This, with blue aragonite, brings you calmness and relaxation. I take time for self-care and relaxation. I remain calm at times of stress. So that's good, because there is something stressful around this. Like, you're connecting with these people. This is how you've known, actually. You have a kind of psychic connection in. And again, you could be tempted to use that, but you're not, because this is precious and you have a divine connection. But it's hard, It's hard to do it because you are ahead of this group, but that's why you're in this. Whether, as I say, whether it's in a workplace, whether it's in a friendship group, whether it's in a relationship, whatever it is, you have to be so responsible because of the depth of what you have in terms of your abilities. So we're going to have a look at how these help you do this first, and then we're going to have a look at how the other chakras connect. So firstly, let's put down the crown chakra and let's ask how that helps you come into your personal power in a way that you feel is sort of honourable, because there's a very deep sense of honour with you. Two of Pentacles. The Lovers. Okay, for some of you, this could be around a love relationship. Page of Cups. It could very much be around that. So, and that might complicate it more. If this is in a workplace, there may be other complications that have to do with relationships and the choices of who you connect with. One of the things you may have to be very careful of is if there is one within the group, if it's not you choosing a lover, if it's just a stronger connection with one more than the other, like how you then treat everybody fairly. So there's a choice. But for some of you, it could play out in a relationship, and it could be that you are kind of spiritually and in the world powerfully ahead of this person. Like, how do you make that offer? How do you do that in a way that brings the person with you, doesn't subject them to you in some way? So that's something to think about. It's your power and then how you love in that way. It's also with the Lovers and the Page of Cups with the crown chakra. There's something quite mystical about you, because ultimately the mystic, yearns for the beloved, which is the divine. And there's a sort of a sense of that too around you, that what you do with this is also a material choice and offering to the divine. So that's powerful. So let's get a oracle card to see how that plays out for you. So we will use the White Light Oracle for the crown chakra. Alpha of Alcyone. So that's very much the frequency of love, because Alcyone is a goddess of love and of mercy and of healing heartache. Now, it's possible for some of you that you're coming to terms with an understanding that you have to manage your own power. Might have come from some issue where there was heartache, or where you're hoping to reconcile with someone. This is certainly a good sign that going to the frequency of love is very important for this, and I feel like it's the divine love. It's what does love mean on that very merciful and gracious level. It may also be that some of what you have to do is forgive others and love others, even if they aren't your equals in whatever this situation is. It's like if you can get to the heart frequency of it, so the heart chakra is important here, then that gets past some of this sort of sense of, push-pull around what your role should be. But this is certainly a very beautiful, loving energy coming from the divine towards you. Let's have a look at the third eye chakra, because the third eye chakra is more your kind of telepathic sort of connections with others. If I, was just deciding the difference between the two, the third eye chakra is that kind of psychic telepathic understanding. So let's see how that helps. If the divine is helping you with love and grace and choices, taking your choices always back to that, then how is the third eye chakra, how you're connecting psychically with others, helping you with getting this sort of well-balanced power? Ten of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles reversed, Two of Wands reversed. Okay, this is giving you a very material understanding of what's going on in whatever this is. And I'll use a work example because it's a good way of reading this, but it could very well be, as I say, friendships, family matters, or love. But this is showing you what could endure and what could really be. And it's showing you where others aren't quite with you yet, who haven't quite seen the plan, haven't quite understood the direction. So picking up kind of telepathically that energy helps you work out where to concentrate. And I think this is very important actually for you, because one of the things around this, what I'm feeling in this, as I say, is because you're ahead in some way in terms of your powers, your knowledge, whatever this is, your skills, if you don't understand fully, like if you can't fully intuit where people are with you or aren't with you, need to catch up, you could end up kind of like teaching everybody all the time and some won't need it and there'll be a pushback. This helps you calibrate where your almost extra mentoring and advice is important, and where you should step back because it can grow on its own. So it's a tempering energy. So let's see with the Supernatural Oracle a little bit more about your ability in this regard. Weird board. Wow. Okay. Help from unknown sources. This could say that you get this stuff telepathically and you're not yet understanding that's what it is. It could also say that you have mediumship abilities, particularly when we're talking about the Ten of Pentacles there. There could also be a kind of telepathic connection or mediumistic connection that will also help you in understanding what to do. And almost there's kind of a legacy about this. There's a legacy feeling about you. You're creating something that's meant to last, that brings people with you. There could be sort of something connecting to your ancestors. There's definitely that kind of mediumistic, moving between the worlds sort of energy to get you information. And I think that you're well aware of that. I think it's just that you're not sure exactly what the source is, but it's a very powerful ability that you have. Okay, so now we're going to look at balancing it with the others. So we're going to start firstly with a combination of the root chakra and the sacral chakra, because this is like your foundation, who you are at your core and what you create as a result of that. So let's have a look with that. And if you've been to pile one as well too, you'll know I did this slightly differently in that, but I'm feeling this is the right sort of rhythm. I kind of got into a rhythm past this point, so bear with me if that's the case. So let's have a look at the energies of your core foundation and what you want to create as it relates to this power that you're moving into, pile two. Three of Cups, Four of Pentacles, King of Wands. Okay, all right. You're very creative, very charismatic. As I say, you could, if you wanted to use the magician in the wrong way, you could pretty much get anybody to do anything you wanted, but you know that's not the right way to do it. You have a mature energy here. You know, what you create, you want to create something in a mature and right way. You also want celebration with everybody, and you want something that has a firm foundation and can last. So it's very important to your core that something can last, something that is a pure foundation, and something that is shared in some way. So you have a natural generosity of spirit. Your creativity is a little bit ahead of everybody. You know that. This energy in your core, which is about inclusion and about collaboration and about making sure everything is in place so that it can last, is a really powerful energy for you. Now, the oracle I thought to use for these two together is the Medicine Woman Oracle, because I feel like that kind of healing that one has at that kind of root level and at what we are truly trying to create and what we want to be fertile in the world is a powerful energy around these two chakras. So this is to look at anything around those chakras that will help you to bring about what you're trying to do with your solar plexus chakra. So interconnection. I bring you the medicine of togetherness. Yeah. You know this. This is part of the reason why, although you are as clever as and as talented as, you know that this is in service of others and in service of collaboration. So something in your core in the way you create helps you do this. So these chakras work very well with the solar plexus chakra with the challenge it has at the moment. So that's very, very positive. Okay, so then we want to have a look at the heart chakra. Or actually, no. First we're going to look actually at the throat chakra, because I'm connecting it with the solar plexus chakra, because how we communicate is a very important thing about how we manifest our power. So, and also because the oracle deck I have is a kind of a combination of these two energies. So let's see how you communicate, how that energy, your communication skills, how that's playing out in this particular chakra balance for you. Six of Wands, Eight of Swords reversed, Ace of Swords. That doesn't surprise me. You would be very articulate. You're great at bringing in new ideas, liberating ideas, like unblocking anything that gets in the way of what one could create, and you are successful. Your communication skills, your creativity, your charisma, it doesn't surprise me again with the Magician reversed. That is a very strong communication card. So as I say, because you're regulating it to make sure you use that skill well, it all operates to bring in really new, wonderful ideas and to release blocks and to bring you victory. But it's because you know you need to regulate it. Because again, you could convince anybody of anything, quite frankly. So let's see what a card from a deck that kind of combines the sort of solar plexus, power energy with communication, with how we are in the world, our career, our spiritual connections, how we make the world what we want, how that comes across for you in your chakra energy centers, pile 2. Emergence, coming into the light, soul work, awaken, spotlight. Yeah, this live gently, and there's a gentleness here. This you are truly now, with the way you communicate, the power you're bringing, your interconnection, you are truly connecting yourself to a more divine energy, and as such you are emerging far more powerful than you would have been if you just decided to use the skills and kind of run roughshod over everybody. So there's something very beautiful going on with you at the moment, which then brings us to the other chakra, which is of course the heart chakra. So this is how your heart connects, and we've already seen the sort of gentleness, the heart connection at the divine level, but let's see what happens with that. How is the heart chakra operating around this emergence of you, pile 2? 2 of Cups reversed, the Empress, King of Cups reversed. Okay, there's something healing here, and it kind of showed up a bit there. So whether it is that all of this is about you finding out who you are and then eventually finding your right partner, and it may come via sort of work or other groups that you're dealing with. I don't know. It could be healing stuff from the family, but there is healing. Healing is going on here around the heart. Some disappointment, something didn't work out, but re-emerging as sort of like a sense of bounty and growth and the capacity and the healing energy. But there is a little bit, it's interesting, when the King of Cups reverse comes up, I always think of Karron, the wounded healer. So I think with all of this is after all of this where Spirit is saying your power is going to grow and emerge because you are connected to others and you're not going to manipulate or exploit your intelligence, your skills, all of those sort of things, and you're very connected. It is saying that there is a little bit of a risk when you're really regulating that you may not heal yourself. So this is saying you are also allowed to give to yourself the bounty that you would give to others. And the oracle deck I wanted to use for the heart chakra is the Inner Child Oracle, because I feel like that's where our sort of most sensitive source of energy is. So let's see what Spirit says for you there. Curiosity. I think that this is saying for many of you, you've had some sort of emotional disappointment, whether it was in love, whether it was around a spiritual connection, whether it was in a career thing, and you're now about to rise, allowing yourself to explore, not taking the pain with you, taking that sense that growth is always possible, allowing your heart to understand that it is connected with divine grace so that you can open that up again. So if this is sort of like showing that you're going to do incredibly well with your career and you're going to take a lot of your heart into that and connecting with others because maybe you felt brokenhearted in something else, this is saying remain open, be curious. The heart energy and love energy can come in for you, and you can move from this sort of sense of disappointment into the sense of the Empress and grow. Okay, so to bring all this together, we're just going to get you some astrology, and then we're going to use the Rainbow Oracle to have all the colours and all the energies together. So just some astrology guidance for you, pile 2. Mutable, flexible in all things, flexible with others. This will help you. Don't be rigid, don't get rigid. And also be flexible with yourself. Libra, there's a lot about social patterns and social niceties with this and doing the right thing and being fair. And I think you're all over that. So I think that's good. And the third quarter moon, the release, letting go of things that didn't work, letting go of things that were painful. I think it's interesting it fell naturally here with the heart chakra. There is something to let go of there. And there is healing to come to you from the divine around all that so that you remain open. Okay. So let's get one card to rule them all, one card to bring it all together from the Rainbow Oracle for you. Divine Feminine. Now that's interesting with the Empress coming up there. I think it's tilting towards looking after your own heart is very important. Don't lose sight of that. This says, flow in the rhythm of the divine heart, your cosmic gateway to all creation. And I think it's also doubling up on the fact that the divine is looking after your heart too. You just have to trust that. You're very connected and you're going to do the right thing. Even though, as I say, you have all the skills that you could potentially do whatever suited you, you are going to do the right thing. Now be receptive of the love that can come to you as well, because you deserve it, Pile 2. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe if you care to share. I'd love to hear in the comments. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, Pile 3, to your reading. So you came to the reading with the third eye chakra. So whether for reasons that you were particularly drawn to that with the concept of your sort of spiritual and telepathic and sort of connected sort of energies and so forth, or whether it was the colouring or the number, whatever it was, you came to that. Now, the third eye chakra, as it is being portrayed in this card that Spirit chose, is connected to blue lace agate, and it's about self-growth and support. And it has the affirmations, I'm supported by the universe and I embrace the process of growth. So I do feel that this is going to be about a concentration on and a spending time on developing your sort of psychic spiritual gifts. I think that, and you will be supported. This is the right time. Either we're going to find in the balance of the other chakras and how they're playing out and how this is playing out, opportunities to do this that are being provided to you, and they may even be challenging opportunities, because sometimes the things that make us grow the most are challenging. It's either going to be that, or it's a big tick from the universe that this is the thing to focus on, and that then in doing it to be aware of the other chakras and how they interplay with it so that you accelerate your development in that sort of way. So there's something in relation to that. Now, there are two other chakra cards here. These could be two different chakras to the third eye, and they could be other chakras that are particularly activating to help you develop your power energy in the third eye. I'm also getting, though this is really about growth, I am getting that these may also help balance out if you're getting overwhelmed with the support side, because sometimes with third eye stuff, like with sort of psychic ability, you can feel a bit overwhelmed. So we'll just see what we get. But they could be different. There could be other third eye chakra things here that really kind of like exponentially say how important this chakra is at the moment. It could be one other one that's twice, or it could be two others. We'll see. I don't know what they are, but we'll see how they work with it. And then we will look at the other chakras that remain. So we are going to look at all the chakras, but we're starting with the third eye. So what we're going to do firstly with tarot is we're going to ask, what are you doing really well in this space of your third eye chakra activation? Four of Wands reversed, Four of Swords reversed, Two of Swords reversed, Knight of Swords reversed. Okay, so the fact they're all reversed, because this is what you're doing well, all this tells me is I think this is quite private, but I think that you're going to now start to come out and show something about it. For a start, we have the Four of Swords here. Now, the Four of Swords upright is absolutely the private. Keep it quiet, resting sort of card. This is the coming out card in a way. So I think you are on the verge of doing something with this. You could be about to do this sort of work. You could be about to launch a channel. You could be about to do a blog on spiritual stuff. You could be about to start to work in divination or some other thing like that. You're ready. You're ready to come out and do it. You haven't quite made the decision exactly how or exactly who your audience is. And I think you're trying to, there's something here which I think you're trying to kind of almost intuit using your ability. It's a combination of whether you go with almost a conservative audience, and I don't mean that in terms of politics, or whether you go where you really feel a connection. So to give you an example of what I'm talking about here, if you were to be doing a channel like this, you might think, looking at it, the best way to grow a channel quickly with divination on YouTube is to really focus on relationship readings. Now that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that, and that's probably true, but that might not be what you want. You might not want that. You might actually want to do something different. In fact, relationship things with Four of Wands reverse may not be the thing you want to focus on. You might want to focus on spiritual development. You might want to focus on career. So I think, and this is just an example of this energy, but I think what this is saying is that you have developed these to a point where you're ready to do something with them. You're now in the process of working out where could you best take this? What could you best do with it? What would be the best audience? What would be the best networks and so forth? So I think you're well developed. Let's ask, therefore, what could be blocks or issues for you in taking this forward? Ace of Wands reversed, the Magician reversed, the Emperor reversed. Okay. There's definitely something here. So as I say, that was just an example, but it's a good example for what I'm talking about here. So I might continue with it, but bear in mind, this could be any number of things. This doesn't have to be that you're starting a YouTube channel or divination business or anything like that. This could be you using your capacity to kind of psychically connect and get information and so forth in a much more conventional job. So it could be the conventional job to work out what's going on when decisions are difficult to make, for instance. So it just depends on what it is, but it's how you're using your psychic abilities. The blocks are that I think you feel there is some sort of block in the powers of the world around this. I think there's actually a part of you that doubts this. Like, I don't think ultimately you doubt your ability, but you feel like there is, in the whole realm of the psychic and the spiritual and so forth, there are bad actors and there are people who use it to control others. And there are also almost kind of like, the power of those in power. So, again, on the kind of thing like a YouTube channel, the YouTube algorithm, for instance, and whether that, is fair and what it does. I mean, that's just an example, but I think there's something there where you know enough about this and you know that you're the real deal, but you equally know that there's a lot of PR and like what is real and what is just kind of the artifice around it. So I think and it may even be that for some of you that you're in environments, whether it's work environments, home environments, relationships or whatever, that if you were to bring this out, people are going to think you're doing this, that you're playing some sort of a trick, but you genuinely have this, it's been part of your growth. But it's like, I think you sort of feel this is why you're kind of thinking how best to do this and how open to be about it. And you're a little bit undecided still. So let's see how the other chakras might be able to help you. So firstly, we have the heart chakra. So something that matters to your heart is very important here. This feels very external and very clinical. So maybe one of the things to work out if you're really saying what environment or who to talk to is who is close to your heart. Where does that connect? This has malachite, which has release and guidance. It says, I seek guidance from my higher self and I release past traumas. So there's something like maybe even you've tried to sort of show this before, you've used it for, like for instance, I'm getting quite strongly for some of you. I think you're naturally psychic. You're a very naturally psychic group. It wouldn't surprise me if even when you were in home, when you were a kid, you saw things and sensed things that the other kids didn't, or the parents would rather you didn't know. You may well have actually suffered a bit for this ability. Or at school, if you picked up the dynamics and, like in, school sort of cliques and stuff can be brutal. So there's somewhere, I think, where you actually almost suffered for this ability. So this is why you're being a little bit careful about it. And your heart is protecting you here, releasing you and bringing you guidance, particularly from your higher self. Then the other chakra is the root chakra. So what is at the core of you? We have red carnelian, stabilization and vitality. I see the vitality in all things and I invite stability into my life. So yeah, where can you feel safe to do this? That's what this is saying. You're very psychic, highly psychic, but not everybody can accept this. Not everybody is as authentic as you. This is really true to you, but not everybody is. And as I say, not everybody can accept it. So to really, truly work on your self-growth with this and start to come out to speak your truth, you need to work out where it's safe. That's what it's basically saying. So let's get a little bit more information here. Let's start firstly with the heart chakra and see how the heart chakra in particular can help you with this, pile 3. Nine of Wands, Queen of Cups, the Hierophant. Boy, you are very psychic. And it's very authentic. It's very true to you. Your heart helps you remember that, I think, your authentic truth and the fact that you've probably brought this in over lifetimes. And there's a lot of knowledge behind it. You know what you're doing too. It's not just raw talent. I think you've done quite a lot of study around this. This has helped you stay the course when maybe you've been around pretenders or people who are rejecting it or you. So your heart is reminding you of how divinely connected you are and how authentic it is. And it's giving you the energy to keep on keeping on, basically. So I'm using different oracle decks for also a little bit of information. And the oracle deck that I wanted to use for the heart is the inner child oracle, because I feel that's at our most precious heart level. And I do feel for some of you, you may have suffered for this right back to childhood. So I think it's probably a very appropriate deck to be looking at for some extra guidance for you. So we have, I bring joy to the world. Celebrate. Okay, it's saying this is, I think it's saying you really are the real deal. You should be able to celebrate that, and you should be celebrated for it. But when you're in the hard yards, find a way to enjoy it. Find a way to celebrate it. Even if it's your own party in your own home, you put the party hat on and you eat lots of chocolate or something like that. There's something about nurture your own heart, celebrate, and know that you're heading in the right direction, that this is authentic. This is not something that should be hidden away. Okay, let's have a look at the root chakra. So when we're looking at the core part of you, and what I want to do is I want to connect that with the sacral chakra, because in the oracle deck I was connecting these two, because I think the core part of you then becomes what you create in the world. So we'll connect both of those together, but primarily looking for the tarot on what the root chakra, what your foundations and a sense of security, how that will help you with this. Page of Swords reversed, Two of Cups reversed, Nine of Pentacles. Okay, yeah, you have definitely dealt with people who've pushed back, who've maybe been dishonest, or who rejected what you had to say. It's been difficult. Like Spirit is sort of affirming that and saying that's why you're wondering. But Nine of Pentacles says that you have everything within you to be able to move forward. You don't need the approval of other people. And once you realize that you have everything, you have the skills and the knowledge, then the slings and arrows of others won't matter as much, and you'll be able to move forward and create the world and manifest the world that you want. But it is interesting. I just feel like such psychic sponges that, there's all those movies that they have where, people, kind of can read minds and then they're made miserable because they can read minds. It's almost like that sense around this, like you're almost too much of an open channel. So I think I also think here creating a kind of almost like a physical boundary around it, like, seeing your body and everything as your temple, so that what comes through your third eye is only what you will allow in, and you stop at the door that which is not authentic. So the oracle deck I wanted to use for the root chakra and the sacral chakra is the Medicine Woman oracle, because I think there's a healing energy in sort of getting that security and that creative thing. And I do think for you there's a healing energy around this. So let's see what we get. The heart's wisdom. Listen to the call of your heart, your guide in love. So it's going back to this and saying celebrate and know that you are what you are, and the wisdom. You have the wisdom. Your heart knows. Your heart knows. So you can kind of push back and reject that which is inauthentic, because you're very authentic, and your heart has the answer to how to deal with all the information that comes through with your psychic and spiritual ability. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the others. So we've done the root and the sacral chakra. So the next chakra I want to look at actually, to me, connects, actually there's two that connect together that we haven't got yet, which is the throat chakra and the solar plexus. Now the reason that I'm looking at these together is that I feel your personal power and your communication can be very strongly connected. Communication will be particularly something for you because you've got the psychic communication, but you also have the power for that. And I have an oracle deck which we will use that will give a sense of how that combines for how you are in the material world, and you create the world that and life that you want, and the power that you want. So let's see your sort of personal power and communication skills and how they help you with coming forward with your ability here, which, as I say, is considerable. So we have the Two of Wands reversed, the Empress, the King of Pentacles reversed. Okay, there's a shifting of a regime here. Your personal power and the way you communicate, once you really start to bring all this together, you were trying to be, and this is this thing about doing just what everybody else does or doing what you would really want to do yourself. There was a side of you that thought the way to best do this and to communicate this is to accord with what other people want. But that's an old paradigm. You're bringing in a new paradigm. You're meant to sort of birth a new paradigm. So it's thinking about that, what is the growth area for you? What would be the area that was abundant and was receptive? Because it's like you've been trying to bring this energy in, or whatever you're getting through your third eye chakra, into an environment that can't accept it, and not only can't accept it, but is dying away in a way. And so it's like, use this for what you can grow and what you can develop into the future. You're much more attuned to the future, again, with the third eye chakra, than the environment that you found yourself in. It also could be that you have, for some of you, a very specific issue around what your father felt, whereas maybe your mother was more supportive of what you did. That's very specific, but that could be the case. And there could have actually been, some of you I'm getting, you saw an issue between your parents, and this doesn't even have to be about gender, because you can have same-sex parents. So it's like something between the two caregivers that was out of sync, and maybe that was, for some of you, the first thing you saw, and you started to know your power, but when you communicated it, maybe that triggered off all this sort of thing where you're being very careful. That's very specific, but I think for some that might be the case. So I'm going to get a oracle card from a deck that combines, to me, the energy of sort of communication and your message with your personal power, and how that then creates the life and the material circumstances you want. So for you, we get Pyramid, powerful people, boss, CEO, manager, influence. Yeah, you're meant to do something yourself. The old order and the old paradigms and the conservative stuff, that's not you. And you're meant to create your own empire with this, because you really do have the future. You really do see the future prophetically. You can do that. And I think you're going to come across powerful people. This is the thing. Don't undercook what you're doing. Don't undersell it. This is sort of something, this is an ability level that is very authentic and would be very appealing to people who are powerful. And if you find the right ones that connect with your heart and all that sort of thing, this is meant to really take you somewhere, to the top of the pyramid, really. So this is not small time stuff. Okay, last but not least, we have the crown chakra. So connecting all of this, you're very connected in here. This is also then how it connects back to the divine, and how the divine could be supporting you. And you said at the beginning that you have the universe's support. So this is a good one to sort of finish on, to sort of bring that together. So let's see how the crown chakra, your connection to the divine, is helping you. The Chariot reversed, the Eight of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups reversed. All right. The divine is saying you're nearly there, but you've got a little bit of adjustment to do to move forward. You're on the precipice of your destiny, which I think is something to do with this. So it's saying you've just got to make those decisions and start to back yourself and start to back your wisdom, because you're denying who you are at this point in time. You have all the skills you need, but your heart needs to know it. So this goes back. Right there in the heart, we had all the information to say that you're the real deal. Your heart needs to believe it. Then you won't deny it. You're meant to do something with this, in whatever level it is. I was probably talking far too small when I was saying YouTube channel, to be frank. There's something that you're meant to do with this, whether it's overtly as a spiritual sort of reader, psychic, or whether it's that you just bring that ability and that sense of the zeitgeist and the matrix into something else. I don't know. It'll be different for different people. But the divine is saying you haven't quite sort of like triggered your destiny yet, because your heart has to believe it. But when your heart believes you have the skills, you're moving really forward. So let's get a oracle card from the White Light Oracle for some other energy around the crown chakra for you. Wow, the Beatitude of Sacred Rapture. This is kind of perfect, because it's all about being seen for your authentic self, for your authentic heart, for your authentic ability, being recognized maybe by those that can see the beauty and the power of what you have, rather than be threatened by it. There is an opportunity here. I think that at some point in your life, your psychic abilities actually were a bit of a curse for you. People rejected it. People, had a problem with it. They didn't want to hear what you had to say. You felt you had to hide away. Right from the beginning, it's saying you're getting ready to come out and be seen. And the divine wants to support this, because the divine thinks that you need to be seen for your destiny and your authentic heart, connecting to that and having the rapture of that. You're meant to enjoy it, pile 3. You're meant to enjoy it. You weren't given these gifts for nothing, but you haven't enjoyed it up till now, I don't think. not fully. But that time is coming. That's what it's saying. So to finish off, I'm going to get you some astrology advice, and then we're going to bring it all together with the Rainbow Oracle. So just some astrological advice for you, pile 3. This is all about you owning your own ability. Knowing that you don't need anybody else, that you're the real deal, your heart understands it, you have a destiny associated with this, and you are part of a new order, not the order that exists now. This is all trying to bring you into balance for. So, astrologically, we have the 3rd house, communication. Yeah. Something about what you communicate with this is going to bring the power in and bring the recognition, and you will be seen. And we have cardinal, to initiate something new. The old order in whatever this is passing away. You are part of the new order, whatever that is, pile 3. And sextile, this is going to be easier than you expect. You expect the kind of pushback you've had before, but everything is lining up for you. You've got the point of development and understanding to make it easier. I'm just going to get what the planets are for that to see if there's any more information. So I'm just going to dial that. So the moon, your psychic ability. What a surprise. And Mercury, your communication ability. So these are in some ways the most connected. Their heart is important and the sort of sense of who you are and your sense of safety. But this is saying this is the roadway, that what you were receiving and how you communicated it, what you were receiving, particularly in your heart, and how you communicate it. That is going to be easier than you think. Okay, so to finish off, we're just going to get the Rainbow Oracle, because that brings all the colours and all the chakras together for a final message for you, pile 3. The sun. Feel the warmth of the sun on this situation. Success and happiness awaits as you walk upon a brighter road. Yeah, things are getting better. And this is your life path too. The sun speaks to me of your life path. Again, it connects back to the solar plexus in particular, because it's really emphasizing the solar plexus and also the energies of the root and sacral chakra. So feeling safe in the sun and following your sun and following your life path and finding your power. But it's got something to do with exceptional spiritual gifts. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope it was helpful. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings.